I am once again fangirling in this studio because we have a Salvi Reina up in this space right now. We have someone who has made me want to cut my own veins out. I'm sorry, that could be triggering, but yo, her words cut that deep, okay? We have Yesika Salgado in the building.
Hi. Thank you for having me, LA Taco and Laura. It's such a pleasure to be here. And I watched last week, and I became an instant fan too.
I appreciate that so much. I love you.
You know, estamos con homegirl time.
Yes, I'm so excited. We at LA Taco nos queremos conocer. We want to get to know you beyond what the articles say because we know you're a bad bitch, okay? We know a lot of people know about you. We know that your story is out there and that you've shared a lot. But here, somos comadres, and I want to get down to the nitty gritty of a lot of fun stuff, okay?
I love it.
So to start off real quick, I just have to ask, how are you doing?
I am doing great.
Yes.
I mean, LA traffic.
The disrespect. What freeway did you get on?
We survived. I don't drive.
Oh, yes, you're right. I did hear that recently.
I don't drive. Not on some bougie, like, can I cuss?
Yes, please.
Okay. Not on some bougie shit. I just literally never learned how to drive.
Yeah.
When my dad was alive and he would try to teach me, he was always drunk. And so, it never happened.
Not a good combo.
But we got here. And so, like, I'm an LA girl through and through, but I always get confused with the freeways.
I feel you. Because we're right there by the East LA interchange and they're just all over the place. And all of them. I feel you. I do too.
I live in Silver Lake and just know that we go down Fletcher and it's right there to the right. And then so I guess the 2, I don't know.
Yeah, no, and the 2 is disrespectful too. Especially right now because it's what is it? Rush hour.
Yeah.
So, but you look great, girl.
Thank you.
And just to start off, because I just want to point out that I am missing 2 acrylic nails. Shout out to my homegirl who fit me in for tomorrow. But your nails are popping. Talk to us about those.
So they are part of my uniform, what I call, I have really short hands. And so I remember one time I was talking to my homeboy and I pointed at him and I'm like, you, and he started laughing at how little my finger was. But I just think that nails, they're also like a tradition, right? Like that we've seen, like, the older homegirls have them. Sometimes my mom didn't, but some of us have seen our older primas, our moms, our sisters.
That French tip, the acrylic, I used to get my nail sets done for $10 on Paul's Nails on Cesar Chavez. And it was $10, just French tip, short. And you could not, what's the new trend? It had me on a chokehold. Like, you cannot tell me different. $10 allowance, yep, French tip.
I used to go to this place in Vermont in Santa Monica.
What was it called?
And nails something, I don't know, you know, like it's just the rose, the hand with the rose on the window,
that logo.
And I think it was like $12 for like acrylics and French tip, right?
Do you remember that life?
Yeah. And then it was like the square round. And then a few years ago I started doing stilettos. And I just love how they look. Like, they look bomb, but they also look like they could be a weapon.
Right.
I call them my knives.
I love it.
So I'm just like, don't try me because I could claw your eyes out.
Because look, bitch, you laughed before, but what now? I mean, now it's disrespectful because I don't have a nail on my index, but I feel you.
But I know what it's like when you're missing like a nail or whatever. Like,
it's tragic.
During the pandemic, I didn't have my nails for a while, and then I started wearing press-ons. But I was just like, I feel ugly. Like, don't look at me. Like,
no.
I don't want to point. And when I perform, I use my hands. And I'm like, oh. And
it always feels bomb. When I get a new set, I feel like I'm a whole ass new person. Same thing with my eyebrows. When I have a new set, I'm like, don't fucking talk to me. What did you say? Like, nuh-uh.
Yeah,
you're unstoppable. It, though. I love it. I also use them as like toothpicks. My brother makes so much fun of me, but if there's like a charcuterie board around, and if I have stilettos, bitch, toothpick wear. Don't trip. I got it.
No, they come in so handy. Right. And also, like, my dog loves to get scratched by them.
Yo, talk to us about your perrito.
Okay, so we got a pandemic puppy. His name is Mingo. He is a Chihuahua Terrier. He has a terrier body, but a Chihuahua heart.
So he likes to fight? Because Chihuahuas come from me and my ankles daily.
You know what? He's fine, but he barks at men. Oh. And then I was just like...
He knows what's up.
I was just like, why do all my dogs hate men? What am I doing?
Yo, they feel the vibe, and they know that toxic masculinity and misogyny exists. So Mango knows what's up.
Yeah, his name is Mingo. And he's spoiled. I'm the person who adopted him, but I'm his least favorite person. Like, he loves me, but it's my mom that she's like,
la reina.
You know, she was like, yo no quiero ningún perro. And then now she's like,
casa, yep.
she's like shredding chicken to mix in with his kibble and like saving like little parts of her meal to give him.
I cannot. So she loves that. That's her grandchild.
Yeah. And then I'm like, stop giving him human food. And she's just like, es que tiene hambre.
I can't. He's hungry all the time. That's how it is.
Yeah,
right?
then I was like, because you keep feeding him, Mom.
That's so beautiful. I love the puppy. I see a Mango on Instagram, and it's just like, I don't have a pandemic puppy because I'm always de pata de perro. Yeah. And I feel like I would be such a neglectful puppy parent.
Oh, I am. I'm not meant to be a puppy mom, but it's like a group project. Yeah. It's my sister and my mom that do most of the...
When you have support, it matters. Yeah. But a puppy is a whole ass commitment. And when I see my friends with babies, I'm like, yo, a dog is a baby, right? Like, I gotta be there to make sure it's shitting. Like, it could shit, right? Like, there's so much that goes into having a dog. So
I have a 5-year-old nephew, and it feels like it's 2 of them sometimes. And then they got a puppy, too. They got a corgi named Bowie.
Do they get along?
They're best friends.
Oh, that's
the
good.
dogs are best friends. But, like... I'm just like, it's 3 of them, because then the baby is just like, I'm a dog. And then like, you're walking 3 dogs.
Right. And that's beautiful community right there. Talk to us about your family, though. I also follow your family, your mommy, your sister, your niece and nephew, right?
Yeah. So I am the oldest of 3. Okay. And then I'm Jessica. And then my sister Jennifer, and my youngest sister Julissa.
All the J's.
So it's all J's. But then I went and I changed it to a Y as my artist name, because there's too many Jessicas.
Yeah, I feel that. And you don't give off Jessica vibes. Like, you're Yesika. Yeah,
I feel like it's some white girl. And my middle name is Melissa.
Jessica Melissa?
Yeah.
Lord.
I'm offended.
Right. Like, what happened?
Yeah, so I'm the oldest. And then my sister after me, Jennifer, who we're only like about 18 months apart. She's a mom of 2 kids. She has Saya, that's 10. Henry, that's 5. And
Henry, that's my boy. I don't know him, but I love when you like post about him. He is so precious.
He is. And people are like, he's so light skinned. I'm like, no, he's half white. Like, let's just,
Oh.
It happens.
You gotta call it where it's at.
Like, I don't think white men, but my sister, bless my brother-in-law, right? But yeah, no, he's a beautiful little boy, and my niece Saya is a brown, beautiful little girl, and she's 10, and she's like, she did her school project for Latinx Heritage Month on me.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Did you cry?
Yes.
I feel like crying right now. I got goosebumps.
Because I was like a person of significance, and I'm like, oh my goodness, that's so... She dressed up like it was like a living museum.
Oh my god.
So she wore a crop top and leopard leggings.
Did she wear lipstick?
No, she didn't, but she had like my sister also wears glasses, so she gave her like an old pair where she had taken out the lens.
Gosh, that's so beautiful.
So cute.
I love that. I love seeing the way that you talk about your family being like love, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, we don't always get along. We argue. Like, right before I came here, I was arguing with my mom because she was saying some wild shit. And, like, just stuff that we disagree on, and it happens. But at the end of the day, like, we lost my dad. My dad passed away 12 years ago.
I'm sorry. And I know it's a root of a lot of the poetry that you write, right? Yeah.
We were always a very close family. Mm-hmm. A las buenas y a las malas, mm-hmm. And so when he passed away, we kind of just closed in on each other, and it was just the 4 of us, like, at home all the time. And then my sister got married and has her family now. But
made the family beautiful and bigger.
Yeah, and they only live 10 minutes away. And so the kids after school come to our house. And then when my brother-in-law is done with his job, he comes, picks them up. But during the pandemic, every birthday, all we did was the 7 of us would get together. And the birthday person would pick what they wanted to eat. Oh. And so we would Postmate from whatever meal anyone wanted. Like we did boiling crab for someone's birthday.
They do Postmates? Or y'all
they're on Postmate.
I'm in the wrong place. I don't think the one in Alhambra does, but I would be ordering boils. Right. I love boiling crab.
Yeah, no, so it was really, it just makes it really easy when you know that you're living in this world as a very public person, mm-hmm. but your inner circle is your sanctuary, and you can turn to them whenever, and they humble you too. Like, whenever
1,000%.
Yeah, whenever I start feeling myself too much, then I'm like, Yesika, like my manager says, capital Y, capital S. Whenever I start feeling myself too much, like I have my family that they're like, no, like go wash your dishes.
Right, chill the fuck out.
Yeah. And so that's really good. And then also I really get along with some of my cousins, and it's really beautiful to be able to recharge.
I love that. And thanks for sharing that piece of you too, because I know that the internet could be disrespectful. And sometimes I like always hesitate sharing something because people will just come at you sideways. It's like, I don't even fucking know you. So take 7 seats.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like I've had people like try to tell us that we're doing this wrong or that wrong or blah, 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 whatever. But at the end of the day, like, I know that everybody is going to have an opinion of things, and nobody really knows what happens at home, you know? And so I share because, especially these last 2 years, and before that, también, like, there's a lot of college students that go away from their families. Yeah. And a lot of my readers are college students. And so they feel like they get to experience some of that through social media, through following people like myself that are very loud and generous with our stories, you know? Yeah. But I also respect boundaries. Nobody has really ever seen my youngest sister. Yeah. Because she doesn't like being... she doesn't like being posted. She doesn't want to be, like, have any of that to deal with. And so that's fine. And with my sister, like, I'm respectful. My niece and nephew have been recognized, like, at Chuck E. Cheese or at Starbucks.
They're celebrities out here, too.
There's little celebrity babies. They're out there. They went to a pumpkin patch, and Beyonce's daughter was there.
Blue Ivy at the same pumpkin patch are y'all going to? Sign me up for next year.
I forgot which one they went to, but this was like a couple of years ago, and then Blue Ivy was there, and then there was a picture like on online or whatever, and people were sending it to me.
Like, hey, this is Henry.
They're like, yeah, Henry is standing behind Blue Ivy. Wow. And then I was just like, wow.
2 celebrities in one picture.
Yeah, there you go.
I love it. I want to bring it back to people who are disrespectful on the internet, because something happened recently and I was shooketh. I wanted to fight for you. I swore I was your mom a little bit in my heart. I was like, what the fuck? But we mentioned your nephew Henry being half white. Yes. Someone recently on social media said that you were a white woman.
Oh, I get that pretty often.
Okay, and that's so hard for the Latino community to, like, differentiate and to accept white identity, because we were colonized. But, you know, like, so much of us have so much within our ethnic identities, right? I mean, I don't want to give my DNA to nobody, but talk to us about that. Like, and I really loved your response too. So if you could tell us about that too.
Yeah. So there's every now and then these accounts pop up and they start calling me a spicy Caucasian or a spicy European.
Oh, my Lord.
And I feel like it's the same couple of people, but whatever. First, we're going to put on the table, white Latinos exist.
Yes.
They're
not white passing.
They're not white passing. They're white, right? And then after that, there's a whole range of folks, right? Mm-hmm. Because, like we always say, Latinidad is an ethnicity, not a race, right? So there's indigenous Latinos. There's mestizos, you know, which is where I fall. There's Afro-Latinos, and then there's Asian Latinos and other identities that I might be missing, right? And so I'm a mestiza, and I'm on the lighter end, right? And that was a lot for me to learn to wrap my mind around, because I come from people, like, from families that literally my parents were migrants, right? So I'm not, like, multi-generations being in this country. I'm the first generation that was born here. Yeah. So that wasn't dialogue in our family. In our family, we're just Salvadoran, and that's it, right? And then also, I didn't go to college. So a lot of this identity conversations weren't things that I was used to. I knew that there were black folks, and I knew there were white folks, and I knew there were brown folks. And then I'm like, I'm brown. Yeah. And then they didn't realize that there's, like, hierarchies and all that. It's very nuanced, right? Yeah. And it changes. So whenever people tell me, like, you're a white Latina, I'm like, I'm a light-skinned Latina, and I have a lot of privileges that I have to be aware of and unpack, and things that make me navigating the world easier, but I can never pass for a white person. Yeah. That has never been my experience.
Yeah. And even you just sharing that too, that there is privilege that comes with being a light-skinned Latina versus a white Latina, right? Yeah. And growing up, shout out to my friend Chaz, who always checked me when we were in college. All these novela artists who got the best tans, shout out to their tan artists. I was like, that's a brown man. And now as an adult, I'm like, Fernando Colunga, all these white motherfuckers who I was like, they're so Mexican. And I'm like, these are white ass food. Alicia Villarreal, all these people, right, I grew up thinking they're Mexican, they're brown, right? And so it takes so much to deconstruct that. But I just want to say that the people that come for you are tripping, right? But it's a good conversation to have, and I think it's good that people are reading it, because I'm sure there are a lot of your followers who are also unpacking that.
Yeah,
and understanding that.
And I lean into it, you know, like, I laugh because like when I get called like a spicy European, I'm like, I've never in my life have been mistaken for a white person. I don't think I could pass for a white person, and like I am on the lighter side, and I'm not going to deny that, but also my features are not very European, right? Yeah. And so it's interesting, and also like being a fat woman of color becomes like this whole other conversation. But like I just lean into it and I start calling myself a spicy Caucasian, a spicy European. My grandmother was indigenous. My grandfather was mestizo. On my father's side of my family, I don't know much of that family, but they're browner than I am. But I'm not going to take on their identities because that's not mine. Your lived that's experience. Not how I'm moving. Yeah. But I'm like, cool. Like I'm down to have these conversations. But I think the bigger conversation is like when we start policing each other in a sense, and it's not to correct bad behavior, right? Like it's important to point out people's privileges and correct that. Yeah. But when we're just doing it for the sake of like trying to win something, is like it makes it hard to really check the people that are fucking up. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because it's like the defensiveness comes in. Yeah.
Yeah, because then I'm defending myself because this came out of nowhere. Yeah. But then some white Latina comes in and be like, I feel you. I feel like this. Exactly. And I'm like, nah, homegirl.
Like, it blurs the conversation a lot. Yeah.
I'm like, nah, homegirl, it's not the same thing porque, like, if you don't open your mouth, no one's going to know. Yeah. No one's going to know that you're a Latina, you know? And if you decide to not use your last name or whatever, it's not going to be apparent. Yeah. But for me, I go to the Midwest. I book a gig in the Midwest, and all these white fools want to talk to me in Spanish.
Yeah, right.
And call me Maria.
That's the worst. Why are they so goddamn disrespectful? Like, hola. Nah, bitch, what's up? Like, get the fuck out my face with your one-worded Spanish intros. Like, I hate it.
I mean, like, I guess, you know, I would be bored. Like, it gets... You know, all they do is eat cheese and
fried cheese curds and all. Which I love, right? I do love cheese curds, but
a pupusa shows up and they get excited, you know?
Se emocionan. So you're taking me to the next question that I want to ask because we're talking about boys in general. I am here in solidarity with you as we call out toxic masculinity and misogyny and all these trash ass men. What's your ideal man though?
Ooh. I'm
just curious. Yeah. I'm curious because I have friends. I mean, shout out to my boo. Before meeting him, my friends would make fun of me and say, girl, Laura will sprint at the sight of a thick, tall man with a beard and dimples. And that is what my man looks like. So, but I'm just curious. You fuck them and like their abuse, right? But also like, what's Yesika's ideal man?
I know. I'm like, I hate men, but I'm like, but.
Right. But shit.
Man. I think appearance-wise, I like tall men, and I think it's not because I feel like short men don't deserve love. I've seen some fine ass short men, but I think it's my own proportion things. Porque like I'm already short and round, and then I'm like, and you're already short too. Like I don't want it to be
bring
like
that much of a difference.
Yeah, you know, I'm like I just want to feel someone that like it's bigger than me. Yeah, you know, and so like I like a tall, like meaty, like you know, thick. Like, and I love beards. You know, before he became very problematic, I was very into Drake, but he broke my heart.
I did want to bring that up.
He broke my heart, and we're broken up. But if someone out there looks like Drake that is not problematic,
hit Yesika up.
My Instagram is okay. But also personalities go a long way for me. Like I could say that I have an ideal for a man, but if I meet the right, I like a man that's smart, that can teach me something, but won't talk down to me. Right. And that can make me laugh because he's genuinely funny. Because so many men out there think they're funny, and they're not.
And then you're just sitting there like, fool, shut your ass up and buy me dinner. Like, ya me debes más, ya me debes más.
Just be funny or learn how to, like, not talk. And then, like... Either or, you know?
You gotta know. You gotta know what you gotta do.
But, you know, that always gets me in trouble because then I tend to, like, be attracted to the loudest motherfucker in a room. And that's something I'm trying to unlearn because that's how I ended up dating all the Capricorns.
Oh, Lord. Talking about the zodiacs. I have it against Aries. I think Aries are so disrespectful in my life.
A Capricorn will ruin your cervix and your credit.
I don't know if I'm mad at the first one, but I'm mad at the second one.
But... Because that's how they distract you. And then they're like ruining your whole life, you know?
Right. Last week we had Mala on, and I know that Locatora Radio also had you moons ago.
They're my homegirls.
Yes. Yeah. And they talked about dating with you too. And as I listened to the episode, girl, you got down and dirty when it came to sex. Are you comfortable talking about that today?
Oh yeah, definitely.
What sex position do you think is heaven sent? What sex position do you think?
I mean, like, doggy style is always like the go-to, and it's uncomplicated, and fools feel comfortable that way.
Yeah.
And if it's not going good, they're not looking at my face to see like.
Right. That's true. You can mask it. Okay.
You can mask it,
strategy.
or you could really enjoy it.
Yes.
You know. So like that tends to be like a really
Enjoyable.
basic position, but that can make them feel like they're doing something.
Yeah.
Because you'll be surprised. Men really like vanilla sex. Like, they're really basic. Like, they'd be thinking they're doing something. Right. And then, like, they think that you did some wild-ass shit, and all you did was get on top.
Right.
And then they're like...
And also, just gonna ask this question. There was a tweet. Did you create this tweet? Because now that shit's on T-shirts, on mugs, probably. But it was, Dear Fat Girl... Don't be afraid to get on top. If he dies, he dies. Did you coin that?
No, it was a black woman that tweeted it.
Thank you so much. Because we were trying to find the origin of it. And I'm like, I remember Yesika tweeted it. And I just want to let you know, because you tweeted it, shout out. Who's the black woman?
I don't remember, but I remember that it was a black creator on Twitter.
Okay.
And
you reposting it literally gave me the courage to try. Because as a thick bitch, it's scary sometimes. It's like, oh my God, is it going to be too much? Is it going to be scary? And I said, wow, let it be what it is. Let me enjoy the ride. I'm a stallion. I'm just out here. Like, I rediscovered myself.
What I always tell women whenever they're like, how do you do it? Like, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, look, has a man ever told you to put your clothes back on and go home?
Right.
Like, if you're fat, they knew you were like...
Yeah.
Hello.
Maybe this is what comes with it.
You saw me. You knew what you were getting. Yeah. They know what they sign up for.
Yeah.
But we show up and we're like
all
trying to be like, turn off the light and da-da-da-da. One of the times that I really had, like, I had to walk my talk was with my ex, my most recent ex. We were hooking up at his friend's house in his friend's kids' room, but they weren't there. Mm-hmm. So we were like,
"Oh, girl, you really out here?"
And so we were like, "We're not gonna have sex on the bed because like that's a kid's bed and it doesn't feel right, right? Like, so we'll like have sex on the floor." And then we couldn't find the light switch, so we had to have sex with the light on.
I was about to say, was it on or off?
It was on. So the light was on.
Also, you were brave because with these knees, I cannot. The floor, baby, no blankets. No San Marcos blanket as cushion.
I think we had like a pillow, but that was it.
Oh,
and
Lord.
So, no, but then wait. And then the mirror, the wall was mirrors. Like two of the walls were mirrors.
And the lights on.
And the lights were on.
I'd be a little scared.
And I was just like, well, fuck it. And like,
we doing it?
No, and then he goes, get naked.
Ridiculous.
I love this man, but he was just very dry and was very I don't know. I'm not even gonna go into him.
Can we do some foreplay? Can you get me excited?
Like, I think he was anxious too. Like, we were both like weird, but then I was just like, fuck it. So then like I got naked and then he got naked and we had sex that way. But then afterwards I felt closer to him. The sex wasn't great. Yeah. I think it was just like the situation was weird for us.
Also the floor. I said, my hat's off to you because I could never.
It wasn't good, but I felt closer to him after because I was just like, we had one of those moments where there was nothing to hide behind. Yeah. And like literally dead silence. We could hear each other breathing. We could hear the slapping. Like,
that's actually a good question. Do you like silent sex or do you like to talk? Because I love to hear talking. If it's silent, I'm just like, if I can hear the crickets outside because the crickets near my house are disrespectful, then what's going? Why aren't you whispering things into my ear? Why? I
like to talk. I like to talk, and but usually there's always some kind of music in the background.
Okay.
I love music. Yeah, so I like an ambience.
What's a good sex song? I like Gregory Isaacs. Reggae artist, wow, it just sets the mood.
You know what? I like old R&B.
Oh, okay.
Like Genuine and like Maxwell.
The original panty droppers before.
Yeah, that kind of stuff. Like I love making playlists, and I have like
a sex one.
Like I have a slow strokes playlist.
Do you have that shared? Because I do follow some of your playlists.
Yes, it's shared.
Okay, make sure you follow Yesika on Spotify, right?
Yes.
Or is it Apple Music?
It's on Spotify. Okay, so cool. It's Yesika Salgado on Spotify. And it's slow strokes and it's all that kind of music. But then there's also like lo-fi, like if you just want, like, I think it's because I grew up having sex. I would date a boy that would crawl into my bedroom window.
Oh.
And we would have sex in my room. So we would always have like, I lost my virginity to Beyonce's first album.
Her solo album.
Her solo album.
I'm in love with you, girl. No, you didn't. That is so funny.
And then it was one of those CD players where it was like 5 CDs or 3 CDs.
Yep,
or something.
and it switched around.
Because it was Beyonce, and then it was Missy Elliott's the one with the little girl when she was doing all the dance, that album. Yeah.
Wow. So then that CD played too?
Yeah, then that
So you're just out here having an eclectic sex tape. Sex moment.
Sex moment. And so then I guess I got used to having like sex to music. And it also helps like if you're both being awkward and you can't find your rhythm, at least the music has the rhythm.
It sets the ambience.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. I love it. Well, we did talk about your ex, and now I want to get into your poetry because, Lord, like I said in the beginning, I just want to say that I went through a very toxic breakup in 2017. It was really hard for me. I discovered so much about myself, and your poetry would have me sobbing. It came to a point, we bought your books at the job that I have, which is as an educator, right? And we bought your books for our students. And one of my lunch hours, I said, let me snatch one of these up and take it to my lunch hour. I had to take a 2-hour lunch because the bitch was shattered. I was like all the poetry. I can't even remember if it was Corazon or Hermosa's the latest.
Yeah, Hermosa came out.
Talk to us about your 3 books too, in case people aren't familiar with your work.
Sure. So I've had the fortune of having 3 books published through an independent publisher based in LA called Not a Cult.
Yes.
And the first book, Corazon, was published in 2017, and it's kind of answering the question, am I worthy of love?
That's the one. That's it.
Yeah. So it starts me being like, I don't think I'm worthy of love, and then falling in love, falling out of love, and discovering that like love exists in many ways, like my family with my homegirls, you know, and all of that. And then the second book, Tesoro, is more of the story of like how patriarchy and machismo have affected the woman I've become, and also the women in my family. So it's kind of like, how did we survive the men? And like, we're still surviving them, right?
Yeah.
And then that's my toughest, darkest book. And then my third book, Hermosa, is basically like now that I've survived, like, who am I? Who's Yesika?
Yeah.
And it's kind of that. And I think all 3 books were written when I was in and out of this relationship with this man for like 8 or 9 years. And the last book, Hermosa, was like when I already knew that we were over. I thought we were over when I wrote Corazon. And so I turned in the manuscript, and the next day I was in his bed.
I cannot. You said, okay, book submitted, healed, but wait.
He posted a picture that he was at a wedding, and then he goes, I love love. And I go, you don't know what the fuck love is? And then we started arguing, and then I was at his house. So whatever. And then after that, Tesoro happened, and there wasn't a lot of love poems in that, because that's not what the book lent itself to. But I do talk about being like a woman with like bipolar disorder and having all of this trauma, like, and it's just like, does it make it difficult to love me, is kind of like what I was trying to navigate in that.
Yeah.
And then but then Hermosa was like, all right, we didn't work out, we're gonna be fine, the love still happened, but like, go be with somebody else now.
Yeah, like, I'm releasing you. That's so beautiful.
Yeah, and I even named him in the thank yous, because I had never named him, and I typed out his whole name in the thank yous. The relationship went really bad. He became an anti-vaxxer, and he thinks the government is giving us COVID. Like, it's just a lot. But at the time, I didn't think that's where he was headed. But
and we find out things later, right? We think we love somebody, we paint the red flags green, we do all of that.
Girl, like, I'm like, what happened?
Like, who are you?
And I've been telling my homegirl, and she's just like, girl, he's been a mess. Like, I've never not thought he was a mess. And I'm like, yeah, but I just didn't.
Love blinds us. Love really, like, takes everything that's bad away and just makes them look like a piece of juicy meat. All right, that's probably not the great analogy, but you know, like, something that's appealing, that's companionship, right?
There's a line in my poem that says, the worst parts of me love the best parts of you. So, like,
I wasn't healed.
Yeah,
when I was loving you.
So whatever that part is that is looking to fix something in my life, kept trying to do that through that relationship, until like I was just like, that's not ever gonna happen. And I think I was able to walk away from it when I looked at the relationship and I go, what am I holding on to?
Like why am I so aferrada?
Was this fool giving me that I can't get anywhere else in the world? And then when the answer was nothing, I was just like, all right, I'm out.
And that's beautiful.
and I wish you luck, enjoy, and leave me alone.
And now let me go write these fire ass books, right?
I mean, like, he was really gracious about a lot of the poetry because he had to like see it on Instagram while we would still be like kind of together. It's a trip to be a writer and try to date.
Let's get into that. What is that like? I am a huge fan of you calling out these foods on. First of all, also, why plenty of fish? Because we talked with Mala last week and we talked about the dating apps and I'm off the market. But back in my thing was Hinge and Bumble. Bumble was the hit. That's where I met my man.
Yeah.
But I see you posting plenty of fish and I'm like, that is the app that stressed me out. I swear, the first time I was terrified of dating apps. The first time I put my information out there, I said my favorite ice cream was Rocky Road. Why does the man have the audacity to be like, can I lick Rocky Road off your titties? I said, bitch, where are the marshmallows and almonds gonna go? It was just, plenty of fish terrified me. So every time you post it, I just want to jokingly be like, girl, have you tried another one? Yeah, I'm like, girl, plenty of fish, why?
Well, this is the thing that folks need to understand. I'm not really actually looking for someone.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I feel you.
And so the apps are more of a social commentary thing. And so a lot of the apps have tried to curve the harassment. So then you have Hinge and Bumble where they can't message you unless you give them permission to.
Yeah, you have to message them first. Yeah.
So Plenty of Fish is my example of what happens when you're just existing.
Research, if you will.
Yeah. And like literally, like I have my profile set up, all pictures that you would find on my Instagram, whatever. And then like the bio says, like, I don't even know, something about like no white men.
Oh.
And then like
boundary setting.
But they still try it. They still try it
all the time. I bet,
because they always think they're the exception,
right?
And it's just to see what messages come through, and it's always some wild, out of pocket, wild shit. And then you see them sometimes when I don't answer. You see them switch up.
Oh yeah,
like it'll be like, hey, what's up? I think
what
you're beautiful.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up? Hey, fat bitch. And then I'm like,
how did we get here? You were on my tit 2 weeks ago. What happened?
Or it'd be like, suck my dick. And it'd be like, hey, how are you doing? Like after I don't answer. And then I'm like, at first you don't succeed, I guess. And so there's been a lot. And so then I take those screenshots and I post them on my social media.
Yes.
I also get a lot of harassment on every platform that I'm on. Fat women get overly sexualized, especially fat women of color. You know, and so I think it's important to bring attention to that.
Yeah.
But I also like to show other men what men do when they think no one's watching. Because these fools might be like some respectful. I've had people tell me that's my boss.
Oh Lord.
And he's like, I thought he was like,
these
and
fools
he's
are out
married.
here living double lives, like just out here being established people that people love, and then next thing you know, what the fuck are you doing on the dating app?
Yeah, and they'd be like...
I'm so happy you call them out and leave their pictures too, because we need to know. I feel like it's a form of safety for us too, like keeping trucha. Like, people tweet at me sometimes and other people will be like, oh shit, he did the same thing to me. Like, just outlandish ass shit. Like, y'all men ain't shit.
I get a lot of other plus size women that will tell me like, oh, he's been in my DMs too.
Lord.
Yeah, and it gets really messy, so whatever. Yeah. But, you know, I'm on Hinge. Yeah. I'm checking it out. But girl,
it's exhausting. It really is. I had moments where I was like, I don't think I want anything. And I'm a Libra. I'm always motherfucking in love. I'm just like, you can get...
I'm a Cancer.
My whole family is Cancers, which is interesting because they're very different. What kind of Cancer are you? Because I feel like there's like the ones, and then there's like the...
I'm both.
You're both? I love
both.
that. Yeah, because I'm surrounded by both.
I'm a chillona and I'm also a pleitista.
Yeah.
So like,
see, I live with like my parents are both. My mom is more of like the chill, softer, and my dad is like the pleitista. Shout out to Guillermo. But we fight all the time.
I have a mouth on me. I run my mouth, but I also have a really soft heart.
Yeah,
and
we love that.
And so like the balance. Sometimes, one of your staff folks outside, he was like, yeah, you cussed me out on Clubhouse one day. And I was just like,
Memo, yeah,
Memo. And then I'm like, it happened.
Yo, you gotta check him. It's because he was saying, what up, guys? And it's a full room full of mujeres.
Yeah, like, it was all women. And he's like, what up, guys? I'm like, but you know, I'm like, everybody gets to smoke, but also everybody gets to love. Yeah. It's always just like, if you get the smoke and you take it, like, you know, chill,
too, yeah.
Then we're good. But if you want to fight, Let's fight. I got my knives.
I love it. I'm here for it. So to close out, I did have a question I was curious about because so much love from your work exudes towards me. And I know all your mangos, your fans feel that too. Because look at your following, right? Like the work that you do is a testament to probably a lot of people's healing. Because I'm telling you, there's this poem that you wrote about finding out if someone could learn to swim with you. There's some shit that I carry. There's some lines from Corazon. Like, is this the last time you're gonna work to make someone love you or something? All those lines really guided me through my healing. So I want to ask you, like, what would your definition of love be, if you could describe that before we close out?
I think for me, love is a mango. It's a fruit, right? It's like, I think we're all green mangoes moving around the world, and all of a sudden we meet somebody that makes us start ripening. Yeah, veces
I got goosebumps. I feel like I'm ripe.
I was these people bump into us a little bit hard, and then you know that the bruise on a fruit is all the sugar concentrating in one place. So when we're heartbroken, it's like all that love that's like, kind of like choking up our heart. So like, yeah, whenever you're heartbroken, just focus on giving that love to other people, and then like you get through that. But yeah, I really think that we're all like fruits moving around trying to find somebody, you know, que nos eche un poquito de sal y limón y que nos dé una mordida. Yeah,
wow.
Un poquito de tajin.
If you can see, my eyes are definitely watering.
Oh.
Thank you so much,
you.
Yesika. It was so beautiful to have you here. I know we've met a couple of times through so many different situations because you are out here doing all the beautiful things.
Girl, I'm tired, but yes, we're out here.
Well, I just wish you all the more éxito. I know that you've tweeted about some exciting things coming up and that you can't share it, but I'm excited to hear it.
Thank you. And I'm excited to see the show grow. And I think it's really beautiful, and it's a service to LA, and any way that I can support, I'm here.
Thank you, Yesika. We love you.